I just got an email saying my flight is delayed.
The seats were super tight.
So I'm really interested to see whether I'm gonna wish that I had spent a little bit more money. Hi everyone, I'm Millington. I'm editor-in-chief at Narcity, and I'm gonna be bringing you along for the journey on my flight to Mexico today. So I'm gonna be flying with Swoop for the first time, which is a low-cost airline operating in Canada. So Swoop is actually the only airline that was operating a direct flight to Cancun today, and this was the date I definitely wanted to travel. And the price was actually more reasonable than some of the non-direct flights that we're operating today with some competitors. I'm really interested to see whether I'm gonna wish that I had spent a little bit more money on a different experience. But in order to, give Swoop a really fair review, I'm gonna be looking at how it measures up against 5 different categories. So the first one is the booking experience. So is it user-friendly? Could I find what I was looking for? Are there any surprises? The second one is check-in and boarding. So, was this process streamlined? Did it take longer than it needed to? Were there any unnecessary issues? The third is the seats. So how comfortable are they, first and foremost, but also, is there everything that I need? Is there a USB port or a plug to charge my phone? Fourth thing is food and drink. So typically this is pretty interesting on a budget airline, but I'll be looking at what's available to me, how much does it cost, and does it seem reasonable based on what I paid for the flight? And finally, service and entertainment. So how helpful and friendly are the cabin crew? Is there any entertainment on board? Which again is not super common on a budget airline, but we will see. After that, I'll be giving Swoop an overall score based on these scores out of 5 for each category when I land. But before we head to the airport, let's take a look at the booking process.
The homepage, it's pretty busy and colorful, and it's going to show you the latest sale. It's super simple to select round trip or one way, where you're flying from, where you're flying to, and then with the calendar view and the departure date, you can see all of the dates that they fly direct, but also the price. So if you have some flexibility, you can very easily select the cheapest date. After a few more quick steps, you actually have the option to select your seat for a small extra fee. I chose not to do this because it was a short flight. You then can add any extras to your flight. The follow-up emails were pretty useful. They gave me my full itinerary, showed me how I could manage my booking, and a breakdown of the cost. So I ended up paying a total of $354.90 for the one-way flight. I had added a check bag for $40, and I paid $5 for Modify, which is Swoop's option to be able to change your flight if needed. So that felt worth it to me. Still pretty expensive for a low-cost carrier, but the booking process was straightforward. It was easy. I never had any issues. So overall, I would give it a 4 out of 5.
So far, it's not off to a great start. I just got an email saying my flight is delayed, luckily only by 45 minutes, so let's hope that it will be smooth sailing from here. All right, catch you inside. Check-in is looking pretty busy. There was no option to check in online. Also, my bag is super heavy, so I'm hoping they're gonna be flexible. Check-in was actually pretty smooth, and somehow my bag was under, so happy days. Headed to the gate, and looks like I have a decent seat as well. I didn't pay for seat selection because it's a 4-hour flight, didn't really feel worth it, but I did pay extra for a checked bag. Only remaining thing is whether they're gonna let me on board with the 2 carry-ons that I'm currently wearing instead of 1 as the rules say, so I will report back shortly. Once it was time to head to the gate, the boarding process was really smooth. And I was also very happy that nobody acknowledged the 2 carry-on bags I had. Everything was done really quickly considering it was a delayed flight. The cabin crew seemed to be having a lot of fun. They were really friendly. So overall, my check-in and boarding experience was a 4 out of 5. When we boarded the plane, everyone was handed a sanitary wipe to clean their seat with, which was a little bit off-putting. The seats were also pretty tight, but that is what you would expect from a low-cost carrier, so no surprises there. It was an extra bonus that there was a USB plug in every seat though, as you don't always get that. With all of that in mind, I would give the seats a 3 out of 5.
As you might expect, there was no complimentary food and drink. This is actually pretty typical on a budget airline, especially on a shorter flight, but I was left feeling that for what I had paid for my flight, a cup of free water might have been nice. There were no full meals available to buy, but there was a decent snack and drink selection. I treated myself to a mini bottle of Prosecco for less than $9, which I thought was pretty great. So overall, I'd give the food and drink a 3 out of 5. There were no screens in the seats, which is pretty typical for a low-cost carrier, though the service was quick, and I really can't say enough about the cabin crew. I really value that aspect of it, so for me, service and entertainment was a 4 out of 5.
So I just arrived after my flight and I'm ready to break down my overall experience with Swoop today. A lot of it was what you would expect from a low-cost carrier, but the service and processes were really smooth, and I was pleasantly surprised by that. I'm giving Swoop an overall score of 3.6 out of 5. The things that brought this score down for me were the very tight seats, nothing complimentary on board, no proper meals available to buy, and no entertainment. The things that really helped this score for me were the simple and easy booking process, the smooth and quick check-in and boarding process, reasonably priced snacks and drinks, and the really friendly and efficient service. If I had paid a little bit less for this flight today, then I would be completely satisfied with the experience. But given that I paid $350 one way for a 4-hour flight, if I'd had the option to fly direct with another carrier today, I probably would have. However, if you're flexible on dates and you manage to get a really, really good deal, then, I highly recommend it to keep your travel costs low and be able to spend your money elsewhere on your holiday, which is, all that we're looking for. So thanks so much for watching. I'm Allie Millington with Narcity. Have a great day.
If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our Narcity channel to see more content just like this.